Welcome back to the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast we bring you each and every week on the Dynamo Podcast Network. Head over to YouTube, smash that subscribe and bell notification button. As always, our audio versions of our shows are available on Anchor or wherever you pick up your audio podcasts. And tonight we have our flagship show, the Monday Mashup. What a show it's going to be. Football gone crazy in the last 24 hours. Let's start, first of all, we take a quick rundown through the Prem results and see, not that they're kind of relevant by the sounds of things, but we'll go through that, the FA Cup, and a quick look at the Champions League, and then we'll get into the meat and veg of this episode. Graham, Everton, Tottenham, 2-2.
Yep. What can I say at this stage?
Are you still speechless from being touted with the supreme leaders of European football?
Yeah, in a way we are. Yeah, it's a point in another direction to nowhere, complete nowhere. No point qualifying for Europe if we're going to be fucking kicked out. So it's a point. It's like a game of football. Take a point. That's it. Move on.
you got what you wanted. Jose gone. What more can we say? You know. Let's go to Alan. Welcome to the show, West Ham fan. Good to have you on, pal.
How's it going?
Good. Newcastle 3, West Ham 2. That could have been a vital 3 points for winning the league by the sounds of things.
Yeah, like in the last 4 games, we scored 10 goals but conceded 9. So straight away, you have to ask questions there. And 4 of them goals have been own goals. You know, there was 2 by Craig Dawson, 1 by Souček, and the clown of the year, Oisín Diop, yesterday. Oisín Diop has directly been at fault for 4 of them goals out of them 9 through not just the own goal, but just through standing there, being the wrong side of defenders, staring at the play. And the question has to be asked, why is he still in the team, you know? Dawson was brought in there to get rid of Oisín Diop, and then Ogbonna got injured, so they'd no choice but to bring Oisín Diop back in. And he's such a liability, everybody can see it. And there's a few West Ham sites I'm on, and everybody's saying the same. For some reason, there's no trust in Balbuena, you know. So it baffles me that we can score so many going forward, but for every one we score, we're conceding one.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting time, especially at the level you've reached this season. I mean, you've played some beautiful football at times.
Well, the thing is, on most of the sites I'm on, no one cares about qualifying for the Champions League. They just want to be top club in London. That's all they're worried about, you know? And because no one ever expects us to be in a Champions League position. But yeah, here we are, 4th from top. Okay, Liverpool can go ahead of us on goal difference tonight. But if we don't get it, no one's going to be disappointed. You know what I mean? This is beyond our wildest dreams. You know, unlike other teams who seem to think that it's their God-given right to be in the Champions League every season. Yeah. We don't, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you've no problem being the best club in London now. Sure, in the league, it's only you, Palace and Fulham left, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, I watched Spurs and Everton the other night, and I wouldn't be a big fan of James Rodriguez, but he dived for that penalty, man. That was not a penalty. Now, I'm delighted with the results that Spurs didn't get the 3 points, but how VAR let that go? You know, he clearly catches his foot on the ground and goes over, and then the Spurs player comes over and tops him. And when they showed the replay, you see it clearly. Like, it just baffles me with Spurs. Spurs should be a lot better than they are. I mean, with the likes of Lamela, Lo Celso, Lucas Moura, Song, Redknapp, or Kane, and Bale. Why are they struggling every week?
Because they've got RDA and Eric Dyer and lads like that at the back.
I could say the same. You know, we've Oisín Diop and Balbuena, who, like, the opposite has single-handedly cost us so much this season. You know, and like Spurs since Christmas, Spurs have played 4 teams in the top half of the table. Arsenal beat them, Man United beat them, West Ham beat them, and Everton drew with them. You know, Spurs are doing great. They're not. They're playing all the teams at the bottom end of the league. Yeah. Anytime it comes up against any of the teams in the top half, they struggle like hell. But yeah, at the start of the season, they hammered United. They they looked like a real dangerous team, and then suddenly it just stopped.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you were jotting off there about sports being showing on, just kept looking at Graham and it's like, hello, darkness, my friend.
Graham, you don't have to worry. You've already qualified for Europe. It's all good.
I agree with what he says. Like we have been shy.
You're now in the league club.
We're getting rewarded for being shit.
That's it.
Basically.
Darren, come in and talk to me. United 3, Burnley 1. A flattering scoreline for such a sort of strange performance.
I don't know. I think we deserved it now, to be honest with you. Like Burnley are always going to be resolute. Sean Dyche teams, you know what I mean? They come, he sat 10 men behind the ball and let Wood just kind of roam around and try and keep Lindelof and Maguire busy. But I was confident. I actually had 3-1 yesterday, so it was a nice few quid as well. But it's just another win, which gets us a little bit closer to City. We play before them next week, so hopefully 3 more points, and we might get them to get the collywobbles, you know.
Absolutely.
Sorry, just while we're there, we don't condone gambling in any way, shape, or form here.
unless you're willing to share it. Mark, talk to me about that equaliser. What a goal!
Yeah, it was something else. In fairness, Greenwood, I've kind of slated him over the last while, but he's because he hasn't been scoring as much at the start of the season, but he did excellent on Sunday, and he has done really well over the last few weeks as well. He's kind of been thrown all over the place. You know, one game he's playing up top, one game he's playing out right, he's playing out left. So he has been adapting. So I have probably been a bit too critical of him, but fair play to him. Great finish, and he's probably going to be our future now, isn't he? Him and Rashford and stuff. Obviously, Rashford hopefully can go off and get the shoulder surgery done, and hopefully hit the ground running next season in the Super League.
Yeah. Jesse fucking Lingard is the future.
It was announced today West Ham have come up with an agreement with Man United and we're signing them for 21.5 million, raising to 25 million. That came up at 5 o'clock this evening.
And Declan Rice.
Declan Rice is not going to Man United. Not with the threat of not being able to play for England. That's more important to Declan Rice than playing for Man United, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. What do we do?
Joking aside, like where does this leave all them top players? Like you look at England for argument's sake, if their players are banned from the Euros, who are they going to have? Declan Rice and who else?
They'd be rolling out Jermaine Defoe again and all these players.
That's it. Jermaine Defoe comes out of international retirement, yeah.
Wayne, professional kind of performance yesterday from Chelsea. Very resolute. What a defence.
Yeah, look, City didn't play great, but I don't think Chelsea played particularly good. I just think City were awful standing off the ball, letting Chelsea move the ball around way too much. Pep Guardiola obviously was done a fantastic squad selection again, making 8 changes or 7 changes it was from Dortmund. So as you know, I wasn't confident going into that game at all. But for weeks I've been worried about it. I thought Chelsea would be more resolute in the day, and they were, to be honest. So fair play Chelsea. Before they even scored yesterday, I'd already designed the way the football was getting moved. I thought, that's it. You could tell by the early way the game was going, City weren't going to get a look in there. So fair play Chelsea, man. And again, being measured by our quadruple failure just shows how massive we are. Absolutely massive.
One of the elites of Europe now, apparently.
Absolutely, yeah. It's bullied into it we were today, supposedly.
Alex, what was your thinking? I thought Chelsea played absolutely brilliantly yesterday.
Yeah, I thought on Saturday Chelsea played very well against Man City. Saturday night I was quite happy. I was saying, very happy with that performance, feel good. 24 hours later I couldn't care less because I'm embarrassed to be a Chelsea fan. And I say thank you to you, Alan, the only one who actually supports an anyway reputable football team.
That's it.
Man, this is some deep shit.
I think any of those clubs that have signed up for those European Super League should be absolutely ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
Just to agree with Gary Neville, they should be docked points, kicked out of the league, and have every trophy they've ever won stripped away.
Yeah, well, we did mention we might be doing a road trip to watch them play Colwyn Bay or something like that in Wales or something. You know?
I'm sorry. I know you're kind of joking and laughing, guys, but I'm embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed to be a Chelsea fan today. It's absolutely disgraceful.
Oh, believe me, I'm embarrassed to be a Liverpool fan. I'm ashamed.
Yeah.
Well,
and Alan, I'm listening to you talk about the Premier League, and power to West Ham. I hope they do well, and I hope they get Europe, and I hope they do well in Europe, and I hope that they award Leicester the FA Cup.
So do I predicted this shit.
Interesting.
They deserve it. We don't.
So I suppose I was going to move on and talk about the Champions League semi-finals, but obviously PSG are obviously going to win it now by the sounds of things.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
No, just regarding Chelsea there, I'm not going to say I was surprised, but Tuchel coming out today and saying that he trusts the Chelsea board and he's all in to win the big trophies and all. And looking at him saying, you absolute pathetic little pussy hoe bitch. Afraid of his life to grow a set of bollocks like every manager in football at the moment and every player that's come out. Bruno Fernandes is not happy about this. And he left a comment on Daniel Cadence's Instagram post today. Tuchel to sit there today and say that he the Chelsea board and that he was all about winning the tough trophies. Any respect, I didn't have much from before. I thought he's a pesky little weasel. When he came out and said that, I looked at him and says, you little bitch, you're getting really fucking pumped by Roman Abramovich every night, afraid of his life to come out and say as it is because he's afraid to get fucking sacked. You absolute bitch.
Dino, tell us what you really think.
I think Tuchel, it looks like it was almost like he had a prepared statement. It was almost like the club said, go out and say this. And I agree. If I were the manager, I'd say, you know what, I'm not doing this. And, I don't know, we discussed earlier about Jose Mourinho. There's rumours and innuendo that the reason he left Spurs is because he didn't want to coach them after the Super League announcement. And if that is true, I don't know if it is, then all the respect in the world goes to Mourinho for me.
Yeah, it's not. It's because they're shit and you got shit results.
The thing I want to know is, like, I was saying it to Wayne earlier on this morning. Take Kevin De Bruyne, for instance. How does he feel? Like, can he turn around and say, look, I signed a contract to sign for Man City in the Premier League to play in the FA Cup, the League Cup, and qualify for Champions League. If they go into this Super League, or ESL as they're calling it now, can he say, this is a breach of my contract? This is not what I signed up for.
Let's hope so.
He can't.
Let's hope so.
That's
because he signed.
I know they're on the contract
signed up
to the
play
club
for Manchester City. He's an employee of the club. The club tell him where to play, when to play. That's, like from an employment point of view, he signed a contract that he is a Manchester City player. And if they say go out on a Wednesday night and play in Stoke in a bleeding cold snowstorm, that's what you do. So from that point of view, I don't think really the players have a whole lot they can do.
As I was saying,
unless unity comes into it and they take a stand completely. Which, if they are going to do that, they need to make a damn sight better effort of it than they did with the racism campaign. You know what I mean?
They made a mess of that. But, I mean, the international football ban, Harry Kane, you can't play for England anymore. Is he going to, it's club, it's hard to, surely there's something they can do. I mean, does this fall under the Bosman ruling, the right to earn a living in football? Because they're going to be closed into this ESL if this goes ahead, which means, are they going to get a transfer ban? Can they transfer from an ESL team back to a UEFA ran team? Or are UEFA going to say, no, sorry, you've made your bed, you can sign for one of the other 20 Muppets that's out there,
Dane Fitz, come in.
Oh, look, just like saying like where do they all go? You're gonna have a lot of come here. Let's be real. There's a lot of footballers in football, a lot of players in football who are as bad as mercenaries as the owners are in the game. Do you know what I mean? So to them, they're probably thinking, "This is great. I'm gonna get more money. I'm probably gonna get double what I'm getting at the moment." But look at Egypt. Egypt came out today and announced that Mo Salah as their international captain. He's not gonna want to stay at Liverpool after getting that honour. There's a lot of players that are gonna end up walking big. You're gonna have a lot of managers. Like, from what I'm gathering, like, I'm solely focused on Liverpool, and like, I'm fearing the worst now. Like, me and Noy were laughing and joking and we're sending pictures and having the crack about and all. But like, when you think about it, this is going to leave a path of destruction like nothing we've ever seen before. Football was dying once Rupert Murdoch got involved in it. Then you have the corruption with UEFA and FIFA, like the treatment of Wayne. I'm just using Man City as an example. We know about PSG and all. But look, Man City bought their way out of European buying, the European ban. The fines they got were fucking pittance, considering the money that they're worth and all. And now this on top of it, this isn't solely down to this league that everything is falling to pieces. This has been coming for a long, long time. And to me, if this isn't going to happen, this is solely so with UEFA building this new Champions League layout, that these are all getting together now. Like, who's the chairman? Florentino Perez. And assistant chairman is your man Glazer. Two absolute parasites in football. These are looking to get as much money as they can. If it comes to it, I can't see it happening. It's going to cause too much destruction. You're going to have players wanting to terminate their contracts. You're going to have managers walking out. It's just fucking ridiculous.
Already, we saw a protest outside Anfield today. We've seen some protests outside the likes of Old Trafford, White Hart Lane. I know there's a big protest plan tomorrow outside Stamford Bridge. So, I mean, the only thing the fans can do, it's a case of we saw the initial uproar yesterday, but, the club still went ahead with it. I think, the clubs have to hit them where it hurts and just, boycott the games, boycott everything about it. But at the same time, if they're earning 350 million for just showing up in the league, it's crazy. And I think Gary Neville hit the nail on the head yesterday when he called it out immediately. He hit a lot of very good points. And I think it's disgusting what it's happened. It's absolutely horrible. And it's such a... The bit that really annoyed me was the exclusivity of it all. It's a real kind of, elite mentality. Like the likes of yourself, Alan, say West Ham win the Premier League. Oh, we get to play in the Euro Super League. No, you don't get in. That's our league. That just, we don't care. Wherever you finish in the Premier League, that's our league. And I think that's horrible. I know the argument was made, well, the Premier League broke away from the Football League, and that's what started all this. But at the same time, the Premier League had promotions, had relegations. People could get in, people could get out based on how they play. This is, you don't have to earn your spot. This is, you're in because you have money, and that's it.
Yeah, it's...
sorry.
Go ahead, Alan, go on.
I've even seen there on Sky Sports News earlier on, Boris Johnson has said the English government, Parliament will step in to stop this. Now, I thought that was illegal under UEFA, that there was no political backing to be getting involved in football, but it's going to have to come that way. But what's Boris Johnson going to do? What's the English government going to do? Are they going to dissolve the 6 clubs and say, here, you can't do this anymore? There's nothing they can really do.
Boris Johnson is an absolute scumbag who wrote about Hillsborough and everything else, and he won't be getting any airtime whatsoever on this show.
All right, sorry about that.
No, it's no problem at all.
Well, it was just the point. The point being, what can governments do to stop this?
Well, the talk was that they were going to stop giving out work permits and work visas and stuff like that. So for international players and stuff like that. But look, let's call a spade here. The reality is that FIFA are not going to be able to stop players playing at an international level, or their whole tournaments will just collapse, because it's absolute rubbish. Look at the amount of international players. Nearly, if you look at the top 15 and whatever amount of teams that have signed up for this, they're all full of international players. Every single player that plays for them is an international player. So it's absolute rubbish, FIFA coming out with that kind of crap. The thing I would say about this, and on a serious note, we've all had a little bit of joke about it. Now, Alex, you're taking it to heart a lot, and you're rightly so. But the reality of this is, this has been coming, and Alan, you would know this because you're of similar vintage to myself. We seen this in 1992. We seen it when the European Cup became the Champions League, and then developed into a bigger Champions League and a bigger Champions League, and no longer being the Champions League. Let's be honest here about it. You know what I mean? And we've seen these waves coming. This wave has been coming since 1992, where it was no longer about fans. That happened in 1992. It didn't happen yesterday. We've been getting rinsed and rinsed and rinsed between the cost of Sky, cost of BT, the cost of kits, the cost of going to games, ticket sales, all this. This is not a new thing. We've just tolerated it because we're fans. But the thing about this is, I reckon all these parties, this has been coming. All these parties will get around the table and they will work this out, and it will be sorted. There's no way they're going to start banning teams and dropping them down to the 5th tier. They're not going to be deducting points. They're not going to be banning players. That's all just UEFA and the FA and FIFA triggering because they're bitch hurt over this crowd getting their announcement out first. That's the reality of this. This is not gonna, it's not gonna become what people think it's gonna become. And I think we got to look at it in a way where we're all fans. You know, look, football is on tonight. No one really cares about it. We're talking about Champions League semi-finals. We should be celebrating City and Chelsea getting into the semi-final of the Champions League. No one really cares at the moment because we don't know what's going to happen. You know, we should be celebrating teams. We should have a great top four race on at the moment where there's 5 or 6 teams in the mix. Probably the most exciting top four race we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
You know, Graham should be celebrating tonight that Jose Mourinho was sacked, but he can't. You know what I mean? But this is what we're dealing with, you know. So, you know, it's hard to know. Everything is in limbo at the moment. But I really do believe on the face of this, it's not what people think it's going to become. I don't believe it is anyway. You know, you hear fan channels today and all going on saying, oh, I'll never follow this team again and all. Mate, you've got 1 million subscribers on your fan channel and you're making serious cheddar off it, and you're going to abandon that because your club is moving to a different league. You want to check yourself, mate, and stop talking rubbish. You know what I mean? We've been seeing it, you know what I mean? And of all the talk that's come out, I think what people have to realize as well is it nearly sounds like we're so against this that it's nearly like we're defending the FA, UEFA, and FIFA, who are corrupt from top to bottom. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you talk about, everyone's coming out talking about, Alex touched on the whole relegation point, and we talked about the whole pyramid and how the money is supposed to flow down into grassroots and support the growth of the game and all stuff like that. Tell that to all the Bury fans last year who lost their club. Where was the pyramid scheme then?
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
100%.
Well, but this is like
nonsense.
This is like the Chinese Super League all over again. I mean, West Ham suffered from that with Marko Arnautovic. They went and waved 400,000 euro a week in his face, and he refused to play for West Ham, wanted to go to China, ended up 6 months in China. He was trying to come back. But like, you know, we lost Oscar over there. We lost Hulk over to the Chinese Super League. Marion Fellaini, like him or dislike him. And this is going to be the same if this ESL thing takes off. You're going to have players on £500,000 a week. Clubs offering, I'll pay 500,000 euro a week to come and play here. And that's what it's going to be. It's going to be football mercenaries. Exactly what you said, you know?
Yeah, but we already have that. I mean, if you look at all the stuff that came out in the last week or two about Erling Haaland wanting 600 grand net a week and, you know, 120.
Paul Pogba 500.
Yeah, you know what I mean? This wave of money is coming, you know what I mean? And when we touch on players like what's Kevin De Bruyne going to do and stuff like that, what are they going to do? Are they going to leave Man City to go and play for Aston Villa or Crystal Palace or something?
No, my problem is, though, like, with FSG getting involved in it, like, it doesn't put a bullet right. Well, I can't really say that on a podcast through John W. Henry's fucking eyeball. But the FSG are tight, greedy cunts as it is. They won't give players the money that they're fucking worth. Now there's talk of each team getting 3.5 billion each. Like, where is that going? That's why I've been calling FSG out for over 12 months. And you want to see the abuse I get off these little fucking do-good believer cults on Liverpool fucking forums saying, oh my God, you're a glory hunting fan. See people, all this shit about glory hunting and all. I've been a Liverpool fan for 25 years. I've not had much fucking glory. So if I was a glory hunter, I don't think I'd still be here. But these cunts are getting fucking X, Y, and Z amounts of money. They've just got a massive investment from Red Cardinal. They've this money coming in now as well. This isn't going to be reinvested into Liverpool Football Club. It's gone straight into their fucking loves, their baseball, their yachts, his fucking paper he has in Boston, because he's an absolute cunt. Well, I've wanted FSG out of Liverpool for over 12 months. You probably didn't yourself. I've seen FSG for what they really are. Money. They got lucky with the success that Jurgen Klopp got the team. Not FSG. Jurgen Klopp got the team that success. And even at that, he's came out now before the game. He said, don't want to talk about this. I know nothing about it. I wasn't involved in the process. Nobody spoke to me. Nobody spoke to my staff. Nobody spoke to my players. And then you've cunts like Tuchel saying, oh, I believe in the board. Yeah, because you're a little pussy, homie. You're being dry full.
Yeah, but you have to take into account as well. This is a very, very, very difficult position for managers to be in. They've been dropped into the meat grinder, you know what I mean? One thing I would say about FSG is, you know, they did have a part to play in the success of the club, because I mean they did
Not getting any credit on me. None
Yeah,
whatsoever.
hang on, this is the same. This is the same company that stood on the steps of the court and saved Liverpool when Liverpool were at that star. Don't forget that as well. You have to be careful about, you know. I understand, man. Listen, we were 3 hours away from going into administration and being ducked points and docked into. But then there was no one else in for us bar them. They had to go to court to get the club off the other two.
They're not getting any credit off me whatsoever. They're fucking mercenaries. They're fucking parasites. They've invested nothing into the club. Most of the money that they've spent was from sales and was from loans, and people forget that.
Yeah, but you have to remember.
The best thing that's happened to the club in fucking, more than 20 years, Jurgen Klopp comes along, and then he's put over a barrel and says, you're going to fucking swallow this end of.
Yeah,
if he walks tomorrow, Mo walks in the summer. Most of the players aren't going to stay there in the summer.
Dane, where are they going to walk to?
Alone.
There's a lot of players going to walk in the summer.
Yeah, but what is the option for them? If Mo Salah decides he wants to leave Liverpool, he doesn't want to be in the Super League because he wants to be Egyptian captain and blah, 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 blah. Where is Mo Salah going to go to?
Germany. France or Germany is the only option.
Well, let's be honest. We know PSG is playing the game. PSG is playing the game because of what's going on. Yeah. They will win eventually. And we know you can be guaranteed, and I said it to Alex today on the podcast, I believe personally, and I've no proof of it, that if Dortmund and Bayern Munich weren't, 51% owned by the fan base, they'd be all over it. I believe they'd be all over it. That's just my own personal opinion. So So I don't believe for a minute. It's all well and good saying these are going to go. But first of all, Dean, if you think about it, when they sold Coutinho and they got 140 million, they could have pocketed that. But they handed it straight to Klopp and he bought Alisson and he bought Virgil van Dijk and all. And those two signings were massive in the success that came to the club without a shadow of a doubt. And look, we've known for 12 months that there's been issues, that he wasn't backed in wanting a defender, and there was various other issues there. But there's been issues bubbling in the background there already in relation to Salah, in relation to Mane, in relation to a lot of stuff. And that kind of stuff, it's not necessarily FSG. You're saying FSG are tight and they may not pay players, what needs to be paid. I think they're being prudent because they're actually a business. They're not like Man City.
They tried to furlough staff when the pandemic started, and they're worth how much money? Come on, mate.
Look, plenty of teams tried to furlough staff. Arsenal did it as well, you know what I mean? It's not unusual.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but listen, think about it logically this way, right? They were instrumental, as long with Klopp, in bringing the success that has come to the club. There's no doubt about that. You can't just park that at Klopp's store. You know what I mean? The way this thing has been handled the same for every manager who was involved in it. Ollie is in the meat grinder, Tuchel is in the meat grinder, Pep's in the meat grinder. They're all in the meat grinder now. Spurs don't even have a manager now over it. They lost their manager today. Well, you know what Ollie's going to do? Ollie's not going to walk. He's going to come out and he's going to try and toe some sort of line as well. Ed Woodward will be missing, so he's not going to come out and say anything because he rarely does. So I think, although I think there's issues there with FSG and they need to be fixed, and I know Klopp today has been dropped in the meat grinder, I do think it is unfair. All these lads come and going, FSG out and all this kind of thing. These are the guys who rescued us. We would have no Liverpool club today, I'd say, if it wasn't for FSG. That's my personal opinion. We were 3 hours away from administration and getting dock points and getting relegated and all this kind of stuff. And to be honest with you, I didn't fancy us in the championship. So I would balance the argument out. I'm not saying that I'm happy with FSG. I'm not saying that all the blame lies with them either. Again, I would say that I don't think this whole thing has been ironed out, and I think agreements will be reached. The arse can't fall out of the Champions League. The arse can't fall out of the Premier League. The arse can't fall out of the World Cup that's coming up. They're going to have to come to an agreement, and they're going to have to figure it out. And to be honest, if you look at the balance of the argument and the debate, they're as bad as each other. You know what I mean? Like, you hear people talking about greed. Sure, look, greed started in 1992. If people are only waking up to greed in the game now, do what me, you, and Alex, and Dean, and Mark, and everyone on this thread, when we go to a match, we get absolutely rinsed. It costs us the price of a week in Spain to go and see a match. You know what I mean? And lads are out going, oh, this is a greed move. It's not a greed move. And again, when I talk about FSG, because we're Liverpool fans, Dean, as well, we can't compare it to the likes of City, who have a bottomless pit of money. We can't compare it to Chelsea with Abramovich, who's had a bottomless pit of money. And Alex can come on here and all. How badly has Roman Abramovich been treated by the UK for the amount of money he's invested in that country and the amount of revenue and wealth he has brought to that country. The chap had to spend something like 18 months in Israel or something like that on a yacht because they wouldn't allow him back into the UK, which was an absolute disgrace.
I agree. And like, to be honest, when the pandemic broke out last year, Abramovich was one of the owners who did a lot. Like, he gave a lot of money to charity. He opened up the Millennium Hotel on the Stamford Bridge site to like NHS staff, and you can stay there free of charge for as long as you want. He opened up all, like, you know, the kitchens in he opened up all the kitchens at Stamford Bridge. People, I think he opened up Stamford Bridge, like, you know, a testing centre when they needed it too. So like, I mean, he's done an awful lot for charity. Like, even throughout the years, he's done a lot for charity in England. So like, I mean, Abramovich is one of those. Like, I can't say anything, you know, too bad about him from where he took us. Like, we were very close kind of the business as well. Had we not beaten you in that, you know, Champions League game back in 2003. So then Roman came in and he took us to, you know, places we never expected to be. But it's just sad to see. Like, and I mean, I know I'm angry and I'm, you know, ranting and raving here and stuff, but the base of it all, man, like, it upsets me. Like, it really upsets me to see that this is happening. It's almost like, you know, I feel like my team has said, you know, all the trophies we've won, all the, you know, games we played, all the stuff that we've done, all the stuff that you've supported over the years, it doesn't mean anything anymore. That's the kind of feeling I'm getting from the club today.
But it's hard to wash you can't wash the history away just like that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I've listened to fans for 30 years give me grief that we never won the league, that we never won the Premiership, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And then we go and win the Premiership. You know what I mean? And it's still not good enough. You know what I mean? You can't. Your history doesn't just get washed away like that, you know? We were talking the other night about how we won 6 Champions Leagues, and I had to say, I think it was Dean, I was on to you on Twitter, and I was saying we never won 6 Champions Leagues. We won European trophies, and I think we won 2 Champions Leagues. You know what I mean? But yet people always talk about, oh, you're washing away the history and the, you know, the history club. There's no history being washed away.
But they're ignoring the prestige, I think, of the competition that they're in. Like, you know, Wayne is in the same boat in the sense that, you know, next week City and Chelsea are supposed to be playing the Champions League semi-finals. You know, in my opinion, the biggest competition in football, the top aim for any footballer to play in. And, you know, a week before that is, I get a notification today saying Chelsea have left the European Club Association. So they're saying on the, you know, a week before the Champions League semi-final, it's like they're saying, oh, you know, this doesn't mean anything to us. We're more interested in this for the money. And when I see that, I'm like, you know, I'm sure, like, you agree, when, like, the excitement for the Champions League semi-final, like, I'm like, geez, if we win the Champions League, I don't know what I do.
Alex, you've been here before. We've been here once before. This is arguably the biggest game. You know, with the team we've got, everything going the way it's going, this could be the biggest game for Man City, one of the biggest in our history. And now it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not excited. I'm not thinking about it. Is it even going to happen? You know, this is what's happened to football overnight. You know?
There's talk that ourselves and Real could get kicked out of the competition on Friday, and I'm sitting going, like, the fans who this means the absolute world to are looking, going, oh my God, it's a Champions League. This could be it. Especially for yourself, having that one, like, this could be it. And it's like, you know, the fans have basically the owners have swept the rug out and said, no, that's not important.
Yeah.
I can tell you now, no one's getting kicked out of any competitions. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's not going to happen. There's too much money involved.
Yeah, agreed. But what does it mean that if there's all these sanctions and stuff put in place, it's tarnished? The dirty dozen, as they're being called, you know, the first 12, you know, it's tarnished. You know what they've done. They're trying to, in my opinion, they're trying to shit all over UEFA and FIFA. Something City have been traditionally trying to do for years. But even as a City fan, this is not right. Like, this is awful, man. You know, this is awful.
Listen, winning the Champions League, if Chelsea or Man City go out and win the Champions League, it's still going to be a very prestigious thing within your history. Listen, we had to listen to winning the league last year, and people wanted an asterisk beside it because it was a COVID year, and they tried to downgrade it and null and void it and do all those kind of things, and we still went on and won that league. That league still means a hell of a lot to me that we won that Premier League, regardless of the year that it was, regardless of the lockdowns. I spent 3 months sitting in this house, absolutely shitting a brick that the league was going to be null and voided. I spent 30 years waiting on it. I hope, and I've said it to the lads before, if we don't get through Liverpool in the Champions League, I would want Chelsea or Man City to win it. I would want it in the Premier League. I don't want Real Madrid or PSG to win it because it's good for the league. It boosts the league. The prize money comes into the league and gets invested and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So I just think Go ahead.
I was going to say my point with that is like, I agree with you. Like the Champions League is the be all and end all, but my point is, the clubs are looking at this competition with the prestige, with the history, and the fact that it has such magnitude when you win it, and they're saying, no, we want to just abandon all this and we want to go playing this corporate soulless Super League.
But you see, they're not saying they're abandoning it. They're being told that they're supposed to go out of it. It's like the Premier League, the argument on the Premier League. None of these 12 teams or 6 teams in the Premier League, none of these 6 teams have said they're out of the Premier League. They all want to play in the Premier League and they want to play in the Super League midweek, like as if they were playing in the Champions League. Now, if you compare that today, and we spoke about it today, the new format for the Champions League came out today. And it's talking about elite teams automatically getting in, even if they don't qualify. So someone tell me exactly what the difference is.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either. I think that new proposed format is also terrible. I think that any competition like that where the teams automatically qualify without having to go through a qualification is absurd, whether it be the Super League or whether it be UEFA. I don't like the UEFA Champions League revamp. I think it's absolutely terrible. Like, again, I'll go back to use West Ham as an example. Like, say, if they do have automatic teams, say West Ham finish 4th and Chelsea finish, 6th or 7th. But Chelsea go, no, you see, we actually have a guaranteed place and we go in ahead of you. That's completely wrong. That is absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
Regardless of the competition, I think it's absolutely disgusting. And I think when you take competition and the merit of actually earning your spot in these competitions, that's when the game is dead.
But see, go ahead, Alan. Go ahead.
Before the Champions League, the European Cup was always whoever won the league went in. There was like 16 teams in it from 16 leagues. Now you can finish 4th in the Premier League and win the Champions League. What are you champions of to get into that? It's totally wrong. I mean, there's 56 leagues in the UEFA, come under UEFA. Why isn't there 56 league champions fighting for the Champions League? Because it's money. It's all about money. Who wants to see Apoel Nicosia against whoever from Lithuania? No one wants to see that. They all want to see Barcelona against Man City, Liverpool against PSG. That's what people want to see, and that's where the money is.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dane.
No, just saying, like, you look at I know the Scottish League is bad, but where's the prestige in like a team winning a league, having to play 38 games or so across the season, winning a league, and then having to play 4 rounds of qualifiers or 3 rounds of qualifiers or whatever it is, right? And then they don't qualify for the Champions League. So here, look, you can go into the Europa League. In my opinion, if you win your league, you automatically qualify for the Champions League. If you don't win your league, you're not good enough, right? They're trying to extend this now to have more teams because it's more money, and that's exactly why the ESL has come along, because UEFA are looking to fiddle more money out of the competition by just broadening the horizon. It's like having a 30-man Royal Rumble, but we'll have 60 people in it. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking ridiculous. But then you look at the likes of what pisses me off the most about European competition now is if you get knocked out of the group stage in Champions League and finish third, you go into the Europa League, you have a chance of winning that. If you get knocked out, you're fucking knocked out. Everything is just being commercialized more and more and more and more. And the more money that comes in, everybody's happier and all. What we're talking about, you're saying like nobody's going to get kicked out of Champions League, and next year there'll be the Champions League is going to be Champions League, and whoever wins the league is going to be in it, Man City and all blah blah. Why? What's fair about Man City, Liverpool, United, Chelsea, Leicester, whoever, West Ham, whoever it may be, going into the Champions League, but then Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs going into the ESL. So you have the money coming in from the Champions League, you have money coming in from the ESL, but then you have the likes of Fulham who have to spend their whole budget to try and stay. You have Sheffield United going out and make Sander Berg the biggest ever signing. They get relegated. He's been out injured, but chances are he's going to fuck off in the summer. It's everyone's just really, really fucking angry. This is a very, very dark day for football, and it's so raw. And that's why everybody's conflict of interest and all. Look, I feel sorry for Alan, is it the West Ham fan there? Like, this is like Liverpool last year. Just say, for instance, the teams that above West Ham do get told you aren't going in Champions League, and West Ham get it. Everyone's like, oh, you only got it because everyone got fucked out. I said this on Monday night. If West Ham get Champions League football, like, I'll be probably one of the happiest people around, because they've never experienced it before. They deserve it for the way they've played, not. But I just think it's absolute bullshit that the money is coming in from the Champions League, the money that's coming in from the ESL, And then they're talking about that. I think they're backtracking now and saying that, oh, well, there will be a pyramid scheme regarding the ESL. There's a lot of creases that need to be ironed out before this goes ahead, because, as I said, it's a very, very dark day for football. It's very, very long.
But I think the main reason UEFA are kicking up so much is the geese that lay the golden egg, the Man Cities, the Juventus, the Barcelonas, all the big TV rights teams want to pull out of this. You know, that's why UEFA are fighting for this. They need them teams in the Champions League for the Champions League to be successful. Who's going to watch West Ham against, I don't know,
Ajax?
Anyone. Who's going to watch that? You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Like, you're going to have a Champions League with no super teams in it. No Man Cities, no Juventus, no AC Milans.
I think you'd find that you'd have a lot of fans watching that, but I think the problem that you have is it wouldn't be at the level of, say, you know, a Man United versus Juventus or something like that. You know,
yeah, I totally agree.
Watch it, you know? Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, totally agree.
This is just one big game of poker, lads. Like this, what happened yesterday is it's a bargaining chip. Those clubs are going to use this to sit down and broker the kind of deal they want for the Champions League and say, if you don't give us what we want, we're going to go our own way anyway. This is nothing but getting your chips on the table first. That's all it was. That's why it was done, you know, 24 hours before UEFA were going to make their announcement. I completely agree with Niall. You know, there's too much money in the likes of World Cups and European Championships for sponsors to miss out on the likes of, you know, if it happened tomorrow and UEFA said, listen, none of the United players can play, do you think the Pepsi are going to sit there and let Paul Pogba sit on a bench, you know, because he's played in a Super League? Not a chance. They pull the plug. UEFA then feel the pressure of that, and the whole thing collapses. So this is just a bargaining chip. And while we all might feel pissed off about it and let down as fans, you know, because we do feel as fans that the game has been taken away from us for many years, and it's getting further and further away from the fan that walks down the street. This is only a bargaining chip. And yet they've probably thrown their toys out of pram. But in 6 months, in 12 months, we'll forget about it. We'll sit back in the stadiums. We'll buy the pay-per-view games. We'll pay for the jerseys because we've done it in the past, and we'll do it again.
Yep, we did it in 92. Dane Malone, come in. You've been quiet tonight on this. What you thinking?
I don't blame now. Right, everyone else has said everything I wanted to say. So,
but do you think this will be a reality, or do you think, as Darren says, it's just a bargaining chip?
I do think it's going to happen. I think the proposals came out in October, so you do look at it. I think they obviously had something planned there, and it's been in the making for a long, long time. I also think it's a lot of great, as Liam Fitz said as well. It's great at the end of the day, but then it's not only with these, it's with UEFA, FIFA. It's all great. Football is great nowadays. It's all about money. It's not anything else. So, yeah, I mean, I'm disgusted by it all.
Yeah, I mean, at the heart of it, like, it's 120 quid for a fully loaded jersey, lads. We can't even start talking about grade, you know, when that's the situation. Yeah. I have 2 kids here. It nearly cost me $1,000 a year to buy kits. You know what I mean? It's a joke. Mark, come in.
I thought we were going to be talking about Dundalk and their manager situation, to be honest with you. No, do you know what Perez said? It's going to help the game at every level. It is in its whole. I agree with everything the lads have said tonight. I looked at it. I was talking to my dad about it earlier. Imagine if you're playing for Barnsley, right? They're in the playoff spots for the first time in 9 years. They're looking to get to the. They're dreaming of playing in the likes of Old Trafford, Anfield, and all. Yep. No one dreams of playing Turf Moor and the Hawthorns. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's be honest. It's taken away from them as well, and it does feed down to League One, League Two, and all. If they go out the FA Cup, they're going to lose TV revenue, sponsorship deals, and all. So it's going to affect everyone. So Perez is full of bull, to be honest with you. But like I said, I agree with everything else that everyone has said tonight, 100%.
Could you see like, a financial implication, like? I know all the ESL teams aren't given television money from the Premier League, or they're not allowed, you know, will there be some financial structure put in place, a financial mechanism to punish them, you know?
See, they've already signed deals for that money. That's a guarantee. You can't then, like, money that they're going to run a club with, you can't then decide because they've pissed you off that you're going to take the money away that's going to, you know, pay the wages of players, staff, groundskeepers, everything. Yeah. So, you know, they're going to be left short there as well. This is just hot air for me. Like, I don't see it being anything else other than a smokescreen and a bargaining chip. Like, and that's across the board. You know, be it with UEFA, with FIFA, like the clubs themselves are looking for UEFA and FIFA to restructure the international game because they've a pain in their hole with sending players off. You know, look at if I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm really annoyed that Aubameyang's gone across the world in a pandemic to play in a very worthless game and come back with malaria as well. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, they need to fix the international calendar as well. UEFA and FIFA won't do that though because they've got all these sponsors to keep happy. So it's one big vicious circle.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm kind of, as a Chelsea fan, I'm kind of looking at my remaining fixtures. Like, well, I was looking at the remaining fixtures, like, and even on Saturday, I was thinking, okay, City and then Brighton, and then I was looking at the West Ham game next week, thinking, okay, we need this and that. But now it's a case of if we're playing in the ESL and we're playing in the Premier League, when I look at the likes of, you know, West Ham for the top 4 race, I kind of look and go, friendly for us, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't mean anything to us. It doesn't affect our season in any way.
Yeah,
so I'm kind of sitting thinking, go, why? You know, why not play the reserves? Why not go out to the London Stadium next week? Just play the reserves. Doesn't make a difference if we get that far. Got the Super League. You go and try and get that far. Like, that's my point. It wouldn't make an ounce of difference if we win or lose the game if this comes into effect in the Premier League. So it's like, well, what interest is there in this league for us anymore if they're playing the Super League? And it's a terrible, terrible system.
The other fear is, like, they say they're trying to base this ESL on the American format or the way American football works. Like American football, like teams that are owners like FSG and Man United's owners, Arsenal's owners, they've moved teams out of cities because there's not a big enough fan base in the NFL. So if they get away with this, what's next? They're going to move Liverpool to London because there's a bigger population in London than there is in Liverpool.
Move them to America.
Or move them to New York City. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
the Merseyside Phoenixes.
but you know what I mean? If they get away with this, if these 12 teams get away with this, what are they going to push for next?
Yeah,
I think they know that at the heart of football in terms of culture and stuff like that, I don't envisage a situation where they're trying to potentially uproot a stadium. But what I do see, the idea of what they're talking about in terms of American sport is leveling the playing field in terms of signing players like a draft, in terms of having like financial fair play in there, that it's like X amount of money that can be spent and leveling all that out. And you know something, looking at that, and not that I'm mad into American sports or stuff like that, but for clubs at the high end of European football, that's not a bad thing. When you see what's happening with Haaland and with Pogba and Harry Maguire and all these players, and even Virgil van Dijk and Arsenal, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. These players, how far away are we from the first player being paid $1 million a week?
Well, look,
Only around the corner.
We were saying a few weeks ago about like UEFA want to move the Champions League final to New York. Like everything about football at the moment is fucking wrong. Your Nations League and all, everything is just fucking wrong. Football was great when it was just left. You got 6 teams out of a hat, they were put into a group. You go and play each other. Top team, second best, you qualify. All this Nations League, Champions League, fucking before, say by the time of 50, there'll be about 80 teams in the Champions League. You'll have fucking, what's that TNS? What's that team from Wales called?
Total Network
TNS.
Solutions.
Yeah.
In the Champions League, enough. Everything. There's no meaning to football anymore. Like even with the pandemic aside, there's nothing about football that appeals to people anymore.
Yeah, but see, we know what UEFA's agenda is. UEFA's agenda is to have all the top teams basically in the last 16 or the last 8. That's why they do the seeding system. That's why teams from similar countries can't meet each other and all these different things. It's contrived. You know what I mean? It's contrived so the Juventuses and the Man Uniteds and the Liverpools and the Barcelonas and the Real Madrids avoid each other all the way nearly to the final 8 and stuff like that. Like UEFA would have been flipping last week at Bayern Munich going out. They would have been flipping about it. You know what I mean? They wouldn't have been happy at all. It's not played in the spirit of the game. It's not played in financial fair play. That's all rubbish. Look at the way financial fair play has gone and how it's been administrated. You can spend what you want. You get a slap on the wrist and you get a fine of 1.2 million or something. You're spending 150 million or 250 million and you get a 1.2 million fine and a 3-game match or something like that. It's rubbish. Absolute junk. But the one thing I'd say to you is as well, lads, 3 months ago or 4 months ago, they announced the new formats for the Champions League and what they wanted to do and how it was going to produce more games and all this. And everyone turned around and said, well, that's the death of the Carabao Cup. There was no fans out protesting about that. There's no fans out going mad over that the Carabao Cup was going and that the financial implications of that for the smaller clubs and all. No one gave a toss.
I did. I was running up and down O'Connell Street, but just nothing was mentioned about it in the news of the papers. Trying to
I think that the Carabao Cup was even devalued this season, where they kind of came out and said, right, we're not going to do extra time. We're going to go straight to a penalty shootout. The semi-final is going to be over one leg now. We're not going to do the whole two-legged final anymore. So I think even this season, we saw the devalue, and even the season before, I remember when Villa played against Liverpool and Klopp was over with the lads in the Club World Cup, and he's like, look, I'm not even going to be there. We're going to play the reserve. So I think we've seen the deterioration of that trophy over the years, and unfortunately, the FA Cup has kind of fallen victim to that a small bit too.
Yeah, I was just going to say that even the FA Cup has lost. I remember watching when we beat Arsenal in Cardiff and Michael Owen scored those two. One of the best days of my life because it had that meaning. The FA, you hear about all the old players, Ian Wright and all talking about and all. The FA Cup was to them was bigger than the league because of the past glories, past. You know what I mean? And it's just nothing now. I have the match on here beside me, the Liverpool and Leicester build up to it, and I have literally zero interest in it. I'm not even just saying it. I know the scarf going around my head, but that's because of a bit of bedheads going on.
But you hear a lot. Yeah, but you hear a lot of fans. You hear a lot of fans coming out over the last 2 days and all saying, "Oh, but what about the romance of the game? And what about the final when Wigan beat Man City? And all these kind of things, stuff like that." To be honest with you, to me, that's dead. That's long gone at this stage. I think people would much prefer to see United versus City in a final or Chelsea versus Arsenal in a final or something like that. I know people turn around and go, "Oh, we love to see the lesser teams get through and stuff like that." But look, how often does it happen? I mean, if you take the 6 teams that are going into the ESL potentially out of the Premiership years, I mean, what are we left with? Blackburn and Leicester. And we know how Blackburn won the league because Walker invested a shed load of money in them. An absolute shitload of money in it to win that league. Leicester is kind of a different situation because a lot of teams have dropped off and they were going through transitions and Leicester just stole a march on people.
Yeah.
And Tottenham pushed them nearly all the way as well, but they fell away. But in reality, in the last 30 years, when has it happened? It doesn't happen. So you hear people talking about romance. There ain't no romance. It's nonsense.
Chesterfield.
Sorry, I'm 51. I remember being 12, 13, 14 on FA Cup final day. The coverage started at 10 o'clock in the morning. They literally went into people's houses. There was such a big build-up and excitement to build up to the 3 o'clock. And that doesn't happen anymore. They show an hour, half an hour, and they talk about something else, not that final, the FA Cup used to be, as I say, a magical day. It was a whole day. It wasn't just 90 minutes of football. It was the build-up. It was how they got there, what the players think. It was a massive thing that BBC used to do. And then, as you say, in comes Sky and BT, and it's all changed,
Absolutely. Well, lads, as always, it's been a pleasure. This has been a real interesting debate.
Sorry, Noel, just before you go there, just wanted to say something. Bill Shankly said this before he passed away. The socialism I believe in isn't really politics. It's a way of living. It is humanity. I believe the only way to live and to be truly successful is by collective effort, with everyone working for each other, everyone helping each other, and everyone having a share of the rewards at the end of the day. That might be asking a lot, but it's the way I see football and the way I see life. And just leave it at that.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't think we can add anything else to that. So, as always, head over to YouTube, smash the subscribe and bell notification button. Also on Anchor for the audio versions of the show. Lads, absolute pleasure having you all on, especially during these last difficult 2 days. I'm sure it's been a nightmare for fans around the world. And we shall talk again real soon. Cheers, lads.
See you.
Thanks, lads.
Bye.